Would you dare to live in a village perched on a cliff, where residents once had to climb nearly vertical ladders just to reach the ground below? Or drive through hundreds of sharp turns high in the mountains, walk along paths beside sheer drops, and cross lands so hot they seem to be on fire? This is a side of China few people ever see, where extreme terrain turns ordinary journeys into real challenges. Before we begin, tell us which place in China you would most like to explore and which one you would never dare to visit. Join us as we explore Unseen China, a journey into some of China's most dangerous and rarely seen places. To get to school, the children here have to climb over a cliff nearly 6/10 of a mile high, holding on to a fragile chain of rope ladders with no handrails at all. That precarious village is called Atulair in Zhangjiajie County, Sichuan Province, where 72 Yai households live on top of a cliff about 2,600 feet high. In 2016, photos of children climbing the rope ladder spread across Chinese social media, forcing the authorities to urgently build a sturdy steel ladder with handrails to replace it. Is there any section of wall in the world so steep that even birds would have to fly on their backs to get over it? The answer is Jiankou, a ruined section of the wall in Huairu district on the outskirts of Beijing, where slopes standing nearly 90 degrees have been named Eagle Flies Facing Up. The authorities have officially banned visitors from climbing this 12-mile section of wall, but countless people still risk their lives to come here every year. Every year, people fall and die here, mostly because they do not know that a 13-foot stretch of steps was worn away and collapsed long ago. Not far from there is the Heavenly Ladder section, where stone steps up to about 1.5 feet high force climbers to crawl forward foot by foot using both hands and feet. Never restored, the whole section of wall still keeps its original ruined look, making it both a sacred place for adventure photography and the deadliest place on the Great Wall. Seen from above, this road looks just like a giant electrocardiogram, with hundreds of rolling curves stretching across the entire plateau. Our Panlong ancient road winds across the Pamir Plateau in Taxkorgan County, Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, China. In just about 22 miles, this road has more than 600 sharp turns, with some bends reaching 270 degrees. The road's elevation shoots up from about 9,800 feet to more than 13,800 feet, making drivers face the risk of altitude sickness right in the middle of the journey. Because the terrain is so dangerous, only vehicles with 7 seats or fewer are allowed to travel on this road. Every year, from October to March, heavy snow forces the road to close completely, and it only reopens when the weather is safe enough for the most daring drivers. This is Hukou Waterfall, the second largest waterfall in China, and also the only waterfall in the world with the distinctive muddy yellow color of silt. It lies on the Yellow River, where the river, about 980 feet wide, suddenly narrows to only about 66 feet as it flows through a tight gorge. The name Hukou means the mouth of a teapot, because the water pouring down through the narrow gap looks just like boiling water bursting from a teapot spout. Any boat that drifts too close has almost no chance to turn back, because the current will sweep it straight over the lip of the falls in an instant. Spray splashes onto the faces of people watching, slightly salty and cold, while sunlight passing through the mist creates delicate streaks of rainbow that last only for a moment. In winter, the flow partly freezes, turning the whole area around the waterfall into a glittering world of ice, so still that people almost forget its fury from just a few months before. It is rumored that as many as 100 people die here each year, although no official number has ever been released to confirm it. That controversial mountain is Huashan, one of China's 5 sacred mountains, located in Shanxi province, not far from the city of Xi'an. The most frightening section is called the Plank Walk, wooden boards less than 1 foot wide, bolted directly into a sheer cliff 700 years ago. Climbers have only a rusty iron chain to hold on to, with a drop of hundreds of feet below and nothing to protect them. Visitors must wear a safety harness with clips before stepping onto this path, although the chilling feeling is still not reduced at all. Although it is known as the most dangerous trail in the world, thousands of people still come every year, seeing the act of crossing it as a way to prove their own courage. To reach this temple on the mountaintop, visitors have to climb nearly 9,000 steps, with the final section so steep it is almost a straight 90-degree climb. This challenging mountain is called Fanjing in Guizhou Province, China, where two ancient temples sit on a stone pillar nearly 330 feet high. On the steepest section, climbers have to hold tightly to the iron chains along both sides of the cliff, using both hands and feet to move upward little by little. Many stone steps here are so narrow that there is only enough room to place 1 foot sideways, while behind you is a deep, exposed abyss with nothing to block it. The stone pillar is split in two by a deep ravine, connecting the two temples with a fragile stone bridge spanning the abyss. According to historical records, the workers who built the temple hundreds of years ago had to carry heavy bricks one by one on their backs, gripping iron chains as they climbed this vertical cliff to complete the structure. Thousands of people rush here to take a viral photo, but not everyone knows that this very road has caused many deadly accidents. That famous U-shaped curve is on National Highway G315 in the heart of the Qaidam Basin in Qinghai Province, near the city of Golmud. The road bends smoothly between two flat stretches of land, creating an optical illusion that makes vehicles look as if they are floating between the sky and the earth. Because of that magical effect, people on social media have nicknamed it the Road to Heaven and the Mirror of the Sky. But in reality, this is a major freight route where huge convoys of trucks keep speeding through day and night. Many tourists, too focused on stopping their cars or standing in the middle of the road to take photos, have unintentionally caused accidents, turning a social media moment into one of the real deadly risks on this road. Without any magic, this mountain can still keep changing its shape throughout the day and night, making anyone who sees it doubt their own eyes. That strange, shape-shifting mountain is called Yandang, located in Wenzhou, Zhejiang Province, and was formed by volcanic activity more than 120 million years ago. The name Yandang in Chinese means wild goose lake, coming from a marsh on the mountain summit that was once a resting place for flocks of migrating wild geese every autumn. Lingfeng Peak, more than 880 feet high, is the most striking place. When moonlight shines on it, The rock formations appear one after another like a husband and wife, a hawk folding its wings, or a rhinoceros gazing at the moon, depending on the viewer's angle. Not far from there, the Hukou Waterfall drops from a height of nearly 660 feet, becoming one of the tallest waterfalls in China. To fully admire this rugged scenery, visitors can also walk along a wooden path suspended close against the sheer cliff, where every step comes with the feeling of hanging in mid-air. For hundreds of years, no one has ever officially conquered this mountain peak, even though many experienced expedition teams have tried. Unconquerable Mountain is Yulong Huashan, located about 9 miles north of the old town of Lijiang in Yunnan province. Its highest peak is called Shanzidu, rising to 18,360 feet, and the closest approach in 1987 also had to stop at an elevation of 17,400 feet because it was too dangerous. The local Naxi people believe the mountain is the dwelling place of the protective deity Sanduo, so climbing to the summit is strictly restricted out of respect for their beliefs. This is also the glacier at the lowest latitude in the Northern Hemisphere, a rare geographical phenomenon in a subtropical climate zone. Visitors can only reach an elevation of 15,090 feet by cable car, where the air is so thin that many people have to carry oxygen tanks to avoid altitude sickness. Only 13 days after opening, this bridge had to close urgently because the number of visitors was 10 times higher than its allowed capacity. The stunning glass bridge is called Zhangjiajie, spanning the Grand Canyon in Hunan province, and was designed by Israeli architect Haim Dotan. At about 1,411 feet long and suspended about 984 feet above the canyon floor, it was once the longest and highest glass bridge in the world when it opened in 2016. The entire bridge deck is paved with 99 tempered glass panels, each about 2 inches thick and weighing up to 1.5 tons, designed to hold 800 people at the same time. Right in the middle of the bridge, there is also an 853-foot-high bungee jumping platform, recognized as the highest bungee jumping point in the world. Standing in the middle of that transparent bridge, visitors feel as if they are floating in the air, with nothing supporting them except a thin layer of glass beneath their feet. Many drivers passing through here describe the feeling as being no different from sitting on a giant roller coaster, even though they are actually driving a regular car. The most overwhelming highlight is a 3-level spiral bridge with an elevation difference of more than 1,150 feet in just a single curve. That bridge is on Tianlongshan Road, located in Jinyuan District, Taiyuan City, Shaanxi Province. Because it lies in a remote mountain area, rescue and safety infrastructure along the route is still quite limited, making any incident harder to handle than usual. Started in 2018 and completed 1 year later, this 18-mile road climbs to an elevation of 4,475 feet on Yandang Mountain. Even so, the road's spectacular scenery still attracts thousands of drivers every year, turning it into one of the most sought-after routes in northern China. Can you believe there is a place in China so hot that people can boil an egg right on the ground? The Flaming Mountains, a range of red sandstone mountains in the Turpan Depression of Xinjiang, are considered the hottest place in China. In summer, the air temperature can reach nearly 122 degrees Fahrenheit, while the ground temperature sometimes goes above 176 degrees. Under the harsh sunlight, the whole mountain range glows in brilliant red and orange, looking exactly as if it were burning fiercely, just like its name. This mountain is also famous thanks to the classic novel Journey to the West, where Sun Wukong has to borrow the magic fan to put out the sea of fire before he can pass through. The range stretches for about 62 miles along the ancient Silk Road, once a place where caravans had to find a way across in some of the most extreme heat in Asia. Local people call this place the Eye of the Devil, because no one has ever measured how deep its true bottom lies. That strange spring is named Aiken Spring, hidden in the wild Gobi Desert of Qinghai Province, China. In Mongolian, the name Aiken means both the source of water and something frightening and horrifying. The mouth of the spring, more than 33 feet wide, keeps bubbling like boiling water, even though the temperature stays around 86 degrees Fahrenheit through all 4 seasons. The high amount of sulfur and minerals in the water has formed reddish-brown and golden rings around the mouth of the spring, making it look exactly like a giant pupil staring wide open at the sky. Located in a nearly untouched land with almost no trace of human presence, Aiken Spring has kept bubbling quietly for centuries, guarding the secret of its true depth. Legend says that a tiger once leaped across the entire rushing river to escape hunters, using a single rock in midstream as its only foothold. The gorge, named Tiger Leaping Gorge, lies on the Jinsha River, the upper course of the Yangtze River, in Yunnan Province, squeezed between the two snow peaks of Yulong and Harbor. With a depth of nearly 13,100 feet from the mountaintop down to the river surface, it is considered one of the deepest canyons in the world. At its narrowest point, the riverbed is only about 82 feet wide, forcing the water to squeeze together and roar fiercely as it passes through the rock gap. The notorious trail, known as the 28 Bends, forces hikers to pass through a series of steep zigzags, testing both their strength and their will. Near the end of the journey, visitors must also climb a vertical ladder of 170 steps, fixed tightly to the cliff face, where a single slip could send them falling straight into the rushing water below. Every year, even though the authorities keep putting up warning signs and sending patrols along the riverbank, people still die from standing too close when the wave rushes in. This is the Qiantang River in Zhejiang Province, home to the world's largest tidal bore, which locals call the Silver Dragon. The wave can rise as high as about 30 feet and surge forward at more than 25 miles per hour, strong enough to sweep away anyone who cannot move back from the water's edge in time. Its sound carries so far that it is compared to rolling thunder or to the hooves of tens of thousands of horses galloping at the same time. In the past, many people risked their lives riding the wave to show their courage, until the authorities had to issue a ban and impose heavy fines, as the number of deaths kept rising. Despite the danger, every year, on the 15th day of the 8th lunar month, millions of people still come here, ready to take the risk to see with their own eyes one of China's most terrifying natural wonders. At its peak, 1 out of every 3 households on this tiny island owned a piano, an unbelievable number for anywhere in China. That island is Gulangyu, located off the coast of Xiamen City in Fujian province, where no cars, motorcycles, or even bicycles are allowed to operate. After the Opium Wars, this small island became an international concession, where 13 Western countries once built consulates and villas in their own architectural styles. It was the passion for music from the time of missionary schools that made this place home to China's only and largest piano museum, displaying antique pianos from the 17th century. In 2017, UNESCO officially recognized Gulangyu as a World Heritage Site, acknowledging the value of this historic international settlement. Today, amid silent alleys with no engine noise, Gulangyu still exists as a vivid museum of European architecture in the heart of China.